Hey folks, I'm Zach and I'm out in the Natural Area Teaching Labs, also called NATL. It's a big forest right south of UF near the Florida Museum, and it's used for teaching. Full of signs, full of tape and, can we see that? Flags, all sorts of other stuff. You'll find more species of trees out here than you'll find anywhere else on campus, I'd say. And if you want to learn about trees, or plants, or any animals out in here, this is the place to go. So right now I'm on the Hammock Nature Trail, and back there's lots of trees, lots of signs that tell you about the animals. Apparently there are foxes out here, which I've never seen one, but they're out here somewhere. There's also Devil's Walking Stick, which is this thing right here. Let's see if we can zoom in. It's one of the more unpleasant thorny plants. You don't want to touch that by accident. And right around here is the area where I once found a dead pig in the woods. Now, it hadn't been killed by anything. People left it out there for a class called forensic entomology, which is where they sort of check what bugs are on a body at different stages after its death. And pigs are sort of similar to people, I guess. So they could use that to help find out what time exactly it died. So if someone gets murdered, the police go to an entomologist and they will say, oh yeah, they have this bug on them. They were killed 5.5 days ago. And that helps them do their investigations, I guess. But yeah, out here there are all sorts of signs, a bit scientific. So if you're just going for a fun hike, this might, I mean, it's a nice place to hike actually, but it's really meant for a teaching area. So I was out here a lot when I took forestry classes, and also I took entomology. We run around with bug nets catching dragonflies and stuff out here, butterflies. For forestry, I'll be walking along line transects, measuring trees, doing grid patterns and lots of statistics. I do not like that part of forestry. But it is nice to be out in the woods when everyone else is stuck inside classrooms doing writing and stuff. I've just passed a sign for eastern corn snake, and if you watch one of my last videos, I believe that is the adult version of the snake I picked up. So, fortunately that's not a dangerous one. And here we go. We are actually right near the state tree of Florida, I believe. Sable palmetto. This is quite a big one, and this tree is actually more related to grass, like same as bamboo actually. You could sort of hit the stem of this, the trunk. Ooh. It's not going to damage it because it is not bark. This is like one solid trunk with little cylinders inside that are transporting nutrients. This is much more similar to a grass than a normal tree. And here we go. The trail is sort of taking us back around. You can see I think it's the Phillips Center over there. It's where they do performances and plays. Over there is the Florida Museum. Soon they're going to have an exhibit on spiders. Hopefully I will still be in Gainesville for that. I'm not sure if they'll let me in as a former student. I might need to pay $10, but it's worth it. If I could get myself holding a live spider on video, that would be pretty cool. But yeah, it's actually one of the places I used to study when I was a student. They had a butterfly rainforest there. They still have it. And we used to all get in free with our student ID. And you could just sit in the rainforest, have butterflies land on you, and do your reading or studying or whatever. Great place to meditate or write or do homework. Out of all the museums I've been to, actually, ooh, a big branch just fell down near me. Florida Museum is one of my favorites. They have all sorts of cool exhibits, lots of stuffed animals, like real animals that have been taxidermied. They have a cave exhibit that's actually a cave you crawl into, which is pretty cool. It's just a great atmosphere inside there. So if you are ever passing by Gainesville, spend the $10, go inside the Florida Museum. It's probably worth it. There's also a free art museum next to it called the Harn, open every day but Monday. Some cool artwork in there. I might actually shoot a video in there if I'm allowed to. We will see. And unfortunately, it seems that since last time I was here, they've done a bit of building out here. I remember that sort of covered area being here, but some of these parking lots look new. Anyway, we're going to see if we could get to the waterside boardwalk that should be out here. And while we're on the way there, this field you see behind me is not how it always looks. I'm going to turn the camera. This area is used for studies, so they do burns or different harvesting techniques every certain number of years or months, and they see what plants grow back first. They see if they can make desirable lumber or timber trees grow faster. So all of this sort of front area of the forest is always being clear cut or burned, and different things are tested in here. So you don't usually see it this empty. You see a lot of interesting species down here. I don't even know what that one is. But usually it looks more like the woods over there. Lots of stuff growing. But anyway, this forest, the NATL, Natural Area Teaching Labs, is one of the sort of lesser known woods around UF, which is crazy because it has some of the best maintained trails and all sorts of different signs compared to all the other woods, which are usually full of invasives and sometimes a bit swampy and stuff. You'd think more people would be out here, but it's just so far near the edge of campus. Like, look at these things. There's a whole sign just about moths, and there's this sort of wooden framework, if you could see it behind me. And sometimes entomology classes will come out at night and put a big white sheet up, then shine flashlights on it, and all sorts of bugs get attracted to it. So once I went out there with the class with the bug net and stuff, and we sort of just shined our flashlights on this sheet, and all sorts of stuff came flying out of the night because a lot of bugs are attracted to the moon or to sunlight at night, I mean. So it's cool seeing all sorts of things just come flying out of the darkness at you, and you gotta catch them. Over here you can actually see another one of those areas that is growing back. This one looks like it has a lot more, I don't know what plant that is. It might be saltbush, but lots of dead plants. They have left a few of the bigger trees when they cut everything else down or burned it, which is good. These trees can produce like acorns and stuff, or pine cones that certain animals eat. We call them mast trees. Even if people are clear cutting a forest, they have to leave a few trees just so animals could live off that fruit. But here we go, we got a sign for this area. I called it the sort of waterside trail. It's actually called seep, like how water seeps into stuff. It has some pretty good signage out here. It's bright colors, interesting to read. This is one of the better forests to walk in, actually, which is weird. It's just so far away from the middle of campus that it's harder to get out here. But here we are. We're on the boardwalk now. It looks like the water level is pretty low right now. All these cypress trees, their bases are out of the water. And I'm actually going to see if I can get down here. Yeah, I can. The ground is dry. These little nubs, called cypress knees, or they're not really the roots. They're called pneumatophores. When there's water around the base of the tree, well, air doesn't really get through the water that well. So these little roots stick out of the water and help the tree breathe, sort of. Let's get back up here. Oh, that wasn't a good way of doing it. I'm sort of on my back now. Over there we got some birds. Looks like they're white ibises. Let's see if I could zoom in. I'm going to get a bit closer. I hope they don't fly away. The ancient Egyptians had a god, I think it was called Thoth, that had the head of an ibis instead of a person's head. They thought these birds were sacred. So you can see these all over Florida, actually. And there they are. They're just sort of pecking for worms and snails and stuff. It's not just birds. Up there, not sure how well this will show up. You can see a squirrel, just a gray squirrel. They make some funny noises. You should never try petting one. I've heard they could turn around like lightning and bite your hand. They're basically rats with big fuzzy tails, cute rats, but they can't have the same diseases as rats. Okay, we're going to keep walking. We're going to go out along the boardwalk into what should be a wetter area, but looks like we've been having a dry spell. There's not much water here right now. Now, if you grew up like I did, someone's probably told you before that ladybugs are good luck if you touch one. Ooh, we got a bench to sit down on. If you come out here, you can find baby ladybugs. Now, like most beetles, they have a grub form, which does not look anything like the adult. For ladybugs, though, you can sort of tell it's a baby ladybug. It's like a little worm-looking thing with legs on the front, and it's spiky and it's like red and black, like a ladybug. So, if you think they're good luck, those ones are a lot easier to pick up. They can't fly away from you. Let's go see if we can find one. Looks like it's the wrong time of year for them, but there is a lot more water out here. You got lots of plants growing down there. Looks like the area is pretty healthy right now, except for the big airheads wrapper down there. But yeah, this is a cattail marsh. There's no cattails out here right now, but it's a pretty interesting area to walk through. And it is right behind the museum. So if you are ever going out to either of the two museums, you can sort of add this in as a little 30-minute hike. All right, I've just found a sort of interesting tree out here. I'm going to turn the camera around and show you all. Now what it looks like what happened is a big tree fell down and pulled its roots up, but it still had enough energy for lots of little trees to grow out of it. So all of these trees are the same species, it looks like, and they all sprouted out of this big one that fell down and died. So that's sort of interesting. Now we're coming out of this wetland area right now. It's not really wet right now, so it's hard to tell the purpose of it, but the original purpose of this area was actually to treat the water, because a lot of these plants suck up toxins and bad stuff. So what they would do is put like storm water and run it through here, and by the time it gets out, it is relatively clean and fresh. So these wetlands are really important actually for keeping our water sources clean. Alright folks, and that was a sort of quick video, I guess. I was mostly in that woods for classes, so I don't have as many cool stories from there. But if I could enter this building, we could sort of add this to the video. I am right near the entomology building right now, and they have some pretty cool exhibits inside it, so let's see. Alright, it was open and we are inside the entomology building. I am looking for a room that has live tarantulas, and if someone's in there, they might let me hold one. We'll see. I'm going to turn the camera around because there's some cool exhibits. Well, first of all, there's some cool books here. Lots of professors are working inside here. There's also all sorts of interesting exhibits, and I'm trying to keep my voice down because there might be people teaching in here. But, oh, that's nasty, a big cockroach. There is a big yellow jacket nest, and this thing is almost as big as I am. As a sign says don't touch it, we're not going to. There's this sort of Skyrim looking bee's nest. So I guess they had to model the game on something. There's jewelry, there's all sorts of cool bug related stuff. Here's a termite nest, it looks like. They've gotten out of the ground somehow. And oh, you can see the bees on there. There's another bee nest. Well, I'm outside in sort of the middle area of the building now, and sadly there's a class in session, so I don't think any tarantulas will be held today. But I will try coming back another day to do it. It's about 4:30 right now. It's a bit too late for me to go into the art museum, but I might shoot a video in there too. There's some cool exhibits. I'm not sure I could tell any stories based on them. I've only been there maybe a dozen times for classes and when I was studying or something. But it's always cool to show off museums. Not everyone will ever make it to Gainesville, so it's nice to see what's inside. Anyway, folks, this might be the end of the video, so see you later and have a nice day. Alright, it is not the end of the video. I have found a poster about forensic entomology, which is all about how bugs interact with people once they've died. And along the left side, you see what sort of bugs will be on a person and what state their body will be in, based on the time and everything. It's not a very pleasant chart, not at all pleasant. But this is what they were studying out in the woods, which is why they had a dead pig in the woods, just to mimic a human body. Anyway, this should be the actual end of the video, and I will see you later, everyone. Peace. So folks, I realized that video I just filmed was a bit short, and as Donald Trump would say, low energy. So I'm going to keep going. I am walking out to the Student Agricultural Gardens, and I'm going to turn the camera so you can see the two bat houses out there. It's not the right time for the bats to come out, and I'm not waiting that long. I have a workout to do, but you can at least see the houses. I can smell them from here. So here they are in the distance. Let's see. There. I couldn't tell you how many bats live inside those two houses. It's probably tens or hundreds of thousands at least. They will all come out around sunset, and there'll be like a big river of bats going in the sky. And those birds circling up there, if we could zoom in. Nah, you can't see them. But there will be owls and hawks and other birds of prey trying to catch the bats. Meanwhile, the bats will be out catching thousands and thousands of bugs, maybe millions of them. So it's thanks to the bats that we don't have any more mosquitoes than we already do. Anyway, it's the wrong season, but this is the Student Agricultural Gardens. They're people who sort of work out here in the fields as volunteers and grow lots of vegetables and stuff. And that all goes to students, I believe. There's a massive pile of mulch over there. Never seen one that big actually. And there should be some exotic plants and trees in that bit of the woods, so we will walk. So I'm coming up on some banana trees right now, and you could tell by this big thing, it should have bananas or plantains or something on it. They're all sort of shriveled up instead, and all the trees look dead. Bananas are fragile. We had the temperature get down to 21 degrees Fahrenheit out here, so they may have all just died, unfortunately. I guess I'll have to replant new banana trees. But there's all sorts of cool plants out here. It looks like a lot of stuff got killed by the hard freeze, but hopefully there's some stuff I can show off. You know, it doesn't look like there is. Aside from some of the bigger trees, a lot of stuff got killed by the frost, so it might need a bit of time to bounce back. But out here there is a little fire pit. So this is right in the middle of campus next to a bat house. If you ever want to have a fire, this is the place. There are lots of benches and stuff. You don't even need to go out in the woods and do something semi-legal. You can just have a fire right here and cook stuff on it. So anyway, I think I'm going to leave it off there, and see you later, everyone.